Testing, testing. Wait until get rolling for a little bit here. Welcome, welcome. Let me know if things are sounding good before I get rolling here. Yo, welcome. Haven't streamed in a little while, and so I had to update things. I just want to make sure things still sound just fine. Hopefully you can't hear that, my computer in the background just freaking out. But let's see. Sounds great. Awesome. All right. Well, I am just going to do what I've been doing on these streams for a little bit, but I got another order of a head tracker, which I'm super excited about because I really like making these, but I already 3D printed the parts and he wanted it in black. And so I'm going to peel out the, what's it called? The structures here. And I usually do that off camera because it's somewhat strenuous, but I figured I'd do it on camera because we're streaming. And so feel free to post questions in the chat while I'm working on this, because this is a great time to share ideas or any project you want me to work on. Let's see, that doesn't have any grip on it. Or if you want me to talk about some project I'm currently working on, fire away there. We currently have the Print-A-Plane project going, which is just printing a F-22 Raptor. Right now it's all purple and it looks awesome. Also, if you're wondering about this blue tape, I'm also live streaming vertically on YouTube, and this is like the bounding box, and so this is to keep me like centered and not like working out all in the corner. So if you're wondering what the tape's for, that's it, just keeping me right in the middle. There's probably a better, cleaner way I could have done that, but it was like 10 minutes ago, and I was like, well, I really want to try this new vertical live streaming, and you can do that with the same camera and everything, so I might as well do that. But yeah, just pulling out some of this structure. Can't wait for the F-22 should be really cool. There's the purple looks amazing. I'm super excited for that, and I'm glad everyone keeps voting purple because I think it'll be super cool. And thankfully, when I went to Micro Center to buy the filament, they were running a members filament sale, and so there was half off everything, and I was a member because it's free. I was like, sure, I'll get 2 spools instead of 1. And I probably should have bought more because I didn't know how popular the purple was going to be. So I do have a backup set of purple filament, but that should be super exciting. We also have a plane that I bought off of Facebook Marketplace years ago, which is a 70mm EDF that I've never flown, and it's been broken this whole time, and it was super cheap because it was broken, but it was a 70mm EDF as well, which is why we picked the STL files that we did for the F-22s, because we could just scrap that old plane and put all of the nice new electronics into it, and hopefully we won't have to spend too much on the electronic set. We also got a spare ESC that we got a long time ago when we were trying to build a much smaller plane, and we didn't really know what the electronic stuff was, or like we didn't really get the ratings and whatever, and we just figured we should get an ESC that's way bigger than what we'd ever need, and then put it into a plane that's way too small, and then just like that we have a very beefy ESC that we've never used, and so we figured we could probably use it in this case because it'd actually be useful for the F-22. Let's see, I've got just a little bit more to go. I'll probably have to file this down a little bit just to make sure all of the electronics slide in nice and smooth. Let's see, here got a little bit more. But yeah, the prints are going super well so far. From was it named PTI Kyle is the guy we bought the parts from, or his website at least. And the prints are going super well, super smooth. They usually take like 6 to 7 hours per part so far, which is why there's stuff going on. Wondering if the PLA would be heavy. Yeah, that is something too that I've been kind of in the back of my mind, like it might be too heavy. And that, yeah, that's a super valid point. And so my thoughts are this: I like the purple right now, and if it's too heavy, then it's too heavy, and then I'll have a really cool wall decor because I think a purple F22 would be awesome. So I'll print it all like normal. I'll try to get everything going as if it'll work just fine. If it doesn't work, then we'll just start over pretty much. We'll just start, all right, well, what color lightweight PLA should we use? Because we went and looked for purple lightweight foaming PLA after we did that first video, and we couldn't find any. Like, it just did not exist, or if it does, it eluded us. So if you have a link to lightweight foaming purple PLA, please send it, because I would love to use it. But we did find like green and red and yellow and white and black foaming PLA, which will also work. So yeah, that's a great point. The foaming PLA might be too, or the normal PLA might be too heavy. And if it is, so be it. It'll be interesting. It'll be fun to watch. And if it crashes, it crashes. I hope that if it doesn't fly, I hope that it just doesn't get off the ground, because then I'll have really cool wall decor. Or I will either way, but hopefully it's just all in one piece. But if the PLA doesn't work, then it was like $30 for the 2 spools, so I'm not really out that much. Let's see, I remember in the past, it was either I had to cut those down. Oh yeah, so it's a little off. Yeah, thank you to everyone who's been commenting. It makes it really fun to see all the purple and the teal and all the other colors that are coming through. It's like, yeah, I agree. Those colors would look awesome. And so far, purple looks amazing. So I can't wait to keep printing that. We're 2 parts into, or I guess we've printed 2 parts so far. I'm really excited to keep going. I think the last time I took a little X-Acto knife and shaved off. There's this little like factory imperfection that's just bigger than the space that we have. So I think I just took a little X-Acto knife and just shaved this. Let's see if I can get this so the camera can see. Just barely shaved it, not hitting any of the electronics or anything, but just barely scraping it off. I'm also not using my dominant hand, so that's why it's a little shakier. I think that should be fine. I just want to make sure it fits really nice before I start soldering. I already put the software on the board like I always do with these, because I've got to do that on the Windows version of my Mac, and I can't live stream with that, or like it just doesn't like it. But let's see, where I was still just getting a little bit of resistance. Is there something I'm missing here? I've been meaning to also print these like 2% bigger, so that everything fits a little bit nicer, and it still would be fitting on your goggles and everything. But I just need this to fit in there like this. And really, I could have it a little tighter, because once it goes in, it'll stay in there. There's no reason for it to really go out. See, it's just still a little bit too big. Yeah, painting a foaming white PLA too. It's another good option that's was brought up, which I think that's true. It's another good idea. I just like the idea of it being like all together, or like all part of the PLA and not including that. But that's a great idea, and the one we might have to go with if people want other colors, or to still do purple. And I'm just trying to hit just this board here with just a little sandpaper, because there's no electronics right up against it. But just trying to get everything perfect, because I want to make it as good as I would make it for myself, and this is exactly what I did when I made it for myself. So, but there we go. Now we're in there, nice and tight. USB still in there, but now here's the fun part, getting it out. Just take a screwdriver to this top screw hole, kind of pry it out. But yeah, the painting it's a great idea if I wanted to stick with purple, or like if I wanted to use white or transparent or some very light PLA. This is being annoying, but yeah, that's at least where my mindset is with this project so far. Is like, right now I want to have it just be printed and not painted, but at some point down the road I could totally change it up and then just get white. Ugh. I did a great job wedging this in there, which means it won't come out, which is good, but alright, you. Joke's over. Hopefully this tape is keeping me central and not like all over the place. But let's see. I need maybe even a little hex screwdriver just to pop it out. There we go. Okay, so now that we got this, and I should make sure that this slides on as well. Yep, pretty solid. So now we can kind of get started here. I also took the time to, a long time ago, write down all the steps to this, like beginning to end, and I also put it in a Google Doc. So if you're following along or you want to do this yourself, I made sure to include that Google Doc in the link to the tutorial. But yeah, let's get started. I'll clean up a little over here too, since we're about to get into it. Let's see what else we got going on the channel. The video that just came out today is flying the Digital Timber X, which is awesome. But unfortunately, I didn't listen to the battery warning that's coming from the Matek Ubec Duo, and it kind of nosed over and crashed and obliterated the digital head tracking system. So that's a sneak peek at a video coming out at some point in the near future. But I've got to go and fix it. So I was thinking about maybe even live streaming later on tonight after I get done with this, and trying to go through the whole rebuild process, because it did kind of go down hard. Let's see, what do we need? The first step is desolder the wires from the female power port, which this is the power port. Oh yes, okay, so where's my little wire cutter? Yeah, well I was flying with a couple buddies at that park that I normally fly at, and it was beeping, or like I could hear the Matek alarm beeping, but I was at about 3 minutes, 3-4 minutes, and normally I get 5 minutes, like easy, like just clean flying around. So I was like, I'll acknowledge it, but I will just continue to fly like normal because I still got a couple more minutes. And the beeping got louder and faster, and I was in the middle of a split S. And when we were doing this, my buddies were flying EDFs, and they were awesome. They were flying an extra 300, and I was just tracking them in my Timber X. I had the Insta360 cam on the back of it, and I was getting some really cool shots. So I'm excited to show that video because it's gonna be really cool. But in the middle of a split S, when I was tracking him, like when I was going straight down, it just completely cut to black, and I cracked it into the ground. And I wasn't like super high up, but I was high enough that the nose kind of crumpled a little bit, and the whole digital system just exploded because it's not in a canopy, which is why I like using canopies. But it did not make it. So I still got to go through and make sure like all the electronics still work, and then I've got to fix the nose of the Timber X. But that also means I get to, this part's being really annoying, I get to put in a new battery Velcro hatch, or at least the current or the stock Timber X Velcro straps are very, very poor, in a sense that the part that latches on the Velcro is all Velcro, so when you go to pull it, it just like sticks, and I don't like it. You need to use a little Velcro strap that has a plastic latch so that it can not catch on itself. And I'm excited to install that, but I'll also probably have to either 3D print a part for that, or 3D print something to just kind of get that structure back into the nose. Probably the worst trick to crash. Yeah, it was just like, it was going straight, and I went, upside down and dove, and right as I was diving. But thankfully, the 360 cam is completely fine, and it was recording the whole time. So it was really cool that I got that video. Like, I'm excited about that, but bummed that obviously I crashed. And I haven't crashed in a long time, so yeah, I was due. But anyways, back to this. Time to desolder these wires. And that's called a split S. Like, that's the professional term. I probably was doing nothing, or like, it wasn't a clean split S. I was just flying high and I kind of dove. I thought it looked cool. But I've also got this Kodo fan a while ago, and it just sucks fumes away. And as I'm soldering, I'm going to be using it because I like my lungs. And so I'll either mute. Well, I'll leave it on for the first one, so tell me if it gets obnoxiously loud. But I'll just do it soft enough because I just have to unsolder these wires. And so I'll turn it on a little bit, and it'll be quick. Like, I just want to make sure. Get this out of there. If you're not crashing, you're not falling. Exactly. So I was bummed because that was the only plane I brought to flying. And I mean, I only live like a couple minutes away. So it wasn't a big deal. But it was still like, well, that's my only plane, so I'm going to go home. Because they were almost done flying too. So that was that. Let's see. The longer one is ground. So trim the ground tab on the female power port. So that's going to be this one. So I'm guessing I just need to cut this down a little bit. Just launch it somewhere. Safety squints. Oh wait, I might damage that. So let me get just a bigger clipper. Barely hit. Okay, awesome. I don't know why my wire cutters are just not cutting wire. Bring the big guns, I guess. That's good. Well, I appreciate it. The feedback about the fan too, because I don't want that to be blaring. Okay, trim the ground tabs and the female. Tim prep 1.5 inches of black and red wire. All right. What is this? Centimeters? All right, we can use that. 1.5 inches. Do I have a ruler? I try to make it as streamlined as possible so that when I go build this, it's super easy. Okay, 1.5 inches here. Inches. Okay. 1.5 there, 1.5 here. And I have to tin and prep that. Okay. There's that. Now we need some flux, some tin. There, and this is here. I'm going to turn the fan back on. So it always kicks on loud, and then like a second later it dies off. So get this in here. Sorry. I also kind of switched around my setup, so now I've got like a gimbal arm holding the camera. So instead of it being like a tripod between my legs, it's a setup that kind of makes sense. But use this. So if it's you wiggling or something too much, let me know so I can try to maybe fix something. Okay. Tin and prep these. Now we're going to solder the red to the middle tab, which I'll also prep this again. So we got middle tab is red. good, and I'm assuming that's going to mean that, yep, black is the edge tab. And if I remember, it's better to have the black on the inside of the tab rather than the outside, just so that when you're screwing it into the whole system, it doesn't like scrape the edges. So I'm going to try to do that here. Okay, I'm a little too far away from the fan because all the smoke just went straight up. There, and then here. Okay. It's all good. Now heat shrink the power wires makes sense. So I've got some heat shrink here. And we don't need a whole lot, but I will use, actually those might be a little too big. Yeah. We'll go little wires. You know what? Those actually might be the right size because that's go around the edge. So I'm going to take these, cut them in half. Never see those pieces again. But I'm going to get this, turn this off. Let's see, I just want to make sure they're just big enough and not too big to like take away valuable space that we have inside the head tracker. But we got this here and this here, and also because I'm a professional, I already have the heat gun turned on. That's also going to be louder, so I might even just mute. It'll sound like a hair dryer, but sorry if that was super loud and annoying, but that now is looking good. It's also hot because I just sprayed hot water on, or hot air on it, so that's obvious. Okay, let's see, screw power port into the 3D parts. So that's this and like this. So I'm going to keep touching that because that's still hot. But let's get this into here, and look at that, touched it again. But here. Here, maybe the heat will make it screw into this 3D part a little bit better. But get the wires in there. And all we're going to do is turn this in there. Ow. Yes, let's use threads. Oh yeah. Okay, so we got that all the way down at the bottom, looking good. And these wires are out of the way, and that's not hot anymore. Good. Okay. Tin and prep the 1.5 inches of black and red wire again. I should just wrote that at the top. 1.5 inches is right here. There we go. Boom. That's there. Oh yeah, I've also got little lights. Designed that into the little fan head. Looks pretty fun. But No big deal. It's tin and prep. Okay. And now we need this and this again. Okay. Here. Come on. Give me more of this. And again, if you want to make one yourself, we've got a whole bunch of tutorials going over this with different boards you can use. And if you don't want to do it yourself, you want me to make it, there is the shop link in the description, as well as our website, and I'll make it on screen. Or I'll make it just like I'm doing right now. I think it's kind of fun to just see your thing being built live. But yeah. Now I need this. Let's see, which is the audio jack. We're going to solder the black to the bottom tab. All right, makes sense. Try not get just a bunch of smoke again. Bottom tab. Looking good. And solder the red to the left tab, and I'm going to assume that if it's looking like this, the left is this one. So let's do that. And I'm assuming he shrinked the jack wires. Yep. So if I was smart, I would have kept those two parts that I just chopped to use them again, but not. So I'll do the same process. I know there's no more heat shrinking after this, so I'll put those wires back. And we'll go here and here. Okay. And we're gonna need a little more air dryer. Okay, that's good. Also, let me know if there's topics or projects or whatever you want me to talk about, or if you just want to listen to the ASMR of me work on this, that's fine too. But those are the jack wires, and we need to screw the jack into the 3D printed part. That's good. So twist. A little bit of 3D gunk I missed. Let's see, I've got a little file here. Let's see. There we go. Just trying to make that center point smooth. Screw that in. we ever do an FPV crawler? Absolutely, yes. I think that'd be super cool. My goal, or at least my plan of doing stuff with FPV, digital FPV especially, was to get a system working that's fully removable and inside a canopy, because then I could do things on slower vehicles like a crawler or some RC car that doesn't get a whole ton of airflow. I mean, that's at least the goal, is that I could put it anywhere on any RC thing that doesn't have airflow and it would still not overheat. And so that's why I'm trying to get the head tracker working for inside this canopy bubble, which is RV7. I made a video, or like the V1 and V2 talked about that already. But if I could get a system working with enough fans, like in the V3, I found these at Micro Center. These are Raspberry Pi cooling fans, and they've got a heat sink with thermal adhesive and a fan on top. So I got two of them to put one on the top and one on the bottom of the O3 air unit to hopefully pull more air away. But that's at least, like, I totally want to do that. I think it'd be super cool. We actually have a couple bigger RC cars. They're Rustler XL5s, I think, that we got a while ago. And I want to add a full digital head tracking setup into it. And then I've got a clear canopy. Then I'm going to cut the windshield out. Maybe add turn signals or other cool stuff. Because I think I know a way to add turn signals with only one channel and have both left and right and blinking. Anyways, I totally want to do that. So yes. But I'll keep going with this. But yeah, I do want to do that. Tin and prep 1.5 inches. Okay, I did 1.5 inches 3 times. I should have just wrote that down and only done it once. But 1.5 inches, black and red. Or I've also seen, like, or at least like a long time ago, there used to be this YouTuber that would take a digital FPV RC car and drive it like all around their neighborhood. Like, it felt like it was hundreds of yards away, like around the corner, and it would drive along the sidewalks. Try larger heatsink, tail fins to help this. Yeah, a great idea. I do. Let's see. I had a big heatsink, but like the struggle with adding bigger things to cool it off, or like right now I'm using a 12-volt fan, or is it 24 volt? Some big old fan. But as I go bigger and larger, it just weighs more, and then it's like, yes, it's removable, but then the plane doesn't fly. But yeah, adding larger heatsink, bigger fan, yeah, that's good. Or channeling some of the airflow from the, what's the word? The fuselage up into the canopy is another idea people have had. Just pretty much get more airflow. And the issue I was having with the RV7 is that even though it was pushing so much air, it was still a almost enclosed canopy, so the air that it did push was just recycling and getting hotter and hotter and hotter. So yeah, just getting more airflow, bigger heatsink, bigger fins, bigger fans. Yes, great idea. Okay, now I got these wires. Solder. Wait. Left tab, right tab. What pins are we talking about? Oh, the button, I assume. Now I see. Where is the buttons? The one part I didn't get out and ready already. It's the button. Which we need one of. Where is it? These, I think. Be too long now. Okay. Also got this at Micro Center. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but for the plane printing in, yeah, yep. someone commented that, or yeah, commented that earlier, that normal PLA might be too heavy, and might's like it probably will be too heavy. But I really like the current purple, and I also said this earlier, but if it crashes or if it doesn't get off the air, I'll then just have some really cool wall art, and then I'll just start the process over, and then we can start printing with the actual, like, the lightweight PLA. But yeah, the Micro Center is, yeah, I totally agree. I've gotten a lot of stuff, especially with this new project. Like, I just run a Micro Center. It's like, oh yeah, I can just do that and make it work well. Let's see, I think, so for this, I put head trackers here. I have 110 minutes. I think ours is like 25 minutes, so I gotta make a trip out of it. But still, yeah, it's super awesome, especially for all like the little Arduino projects. Or that's what I was walking through Micro Center and I saw the little depth, or what's it called, ultrasonic sensor, and that's what got me the idea to add one to the Corsair. Is like, oh, I could totally do that because I saw it at the store. But yeah, that was just the idea. Let's see. Bottom pin is black, okay. These ones are always fun soldering tricks or trials because they're so small. Okay, bottom is black. So that's going to be here. Yeah, having the 3D print, the 3D filament, like they've got rows and rows and rows of filament, which is why I was like, okay, I need purple. Let's go find a cool one, and that's why I got with this silk purple. And it's not silk PLA; it's normal PLA that's silk purple. So that's why I think it'll work just fine. But yeah, they've got crazy Arduino stuff. They've got a good amount of soldering stuff too, but filament they got just tons of it. Okay. Oh, I already did write down on this board of instructions. Yeah, I already wrote down that it was 1.5 inches for each. What else is this playing to be FPV? Yes. I can't, or at least I'll say I haven't flown line of sight ever. But yeah, I was going to take the STL files for the cockpit and put on, hopefully make it digital, but I might make it analog for the first flight. Just so that I can actually fly it. So if I make this really cool plane and then it just like crunches, but yeah, it'll be FPV and it'll be designed in. And we're also going to try to design in a gear, because in that broken down plane I have, it has an extra set of gear. FC the flame, make it fly, stabilize, have an OSD. Yeah, that would be super cool. Yeah, there's so many cool ideas. Let's see. Hang on, you guys are going too fast. Let me read it. Adding a flight controller to plane. Yes, that's a great idea. I was going to use a Spectrum receiver because I don't fly too far away, and it has safe in AS3X. But that's just because I have a couple, or I have an extra one. But yeah, having stuff that displays information would be awesome. Having a canopy. Hopefully, I would just have to figure out how to make it curved, or like an actual canopy that's clear enough to work. But I love having canopies because it protects the camera, and I think it looks really cool. Having a servo canopy, that would be super awesome. I've thought about adding one of those to my Corsair, and I still might at some point, but that'd be really cool. Analog is awesome. And I've flown analog for like the majority of my time flying, but in the couple flights I've flown digital with planes, it's like incredible. It's just the price point makes it a lot tougher. Like, that's why I want this whole removable system, is I only want to have one air unit, one gimbal system. Like, it's all expensive at the moment. So that's why I try to make it as easy to go from system to system. But let's see. Let's get back to this. I need to power some, or solder some of these wires. So the V in is this one. The ground, V in. And then D10 and D3, which D10 is 3 from the top. D3 is here, 2 up from the ground, and I need to do the ground anyways. Okay, you get on there. Two up. Is it 2 up or 3 up? D3 is if there's one gap in between. Okay. Yeah. That's why the analog is super cheap. So like for all of our UMX planes and stuff, we just bought an individual camera for each plane because it was only like $30, and it's a lot easier to just like double-sided tape it on. But yeah, with digital, it's like I'm not gonna buy another couple $100 camera and VTX and gimbal systems. I want it to be one. But let's see. Solder the jack to the board, it says, is the first step. And so the jack needs D10 is red. Let's see, this is going to go this way. So it's going to go like this. D10 is red. Can I get this to just sit here and be nice? As for Canada, you can heat up clear plastic or sheets of plastic. It could mold it around. Yeah, that's a great idea. I haven't experimented with that at all, but that sounds like a great idea. Especially if it's like ends up nice, clear, and cool. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's see. The jack. No. What are we doing? Jack first. Jack. D10 is red. D10 is this top one. Get that there. Get out of there, black wire. Okay, and then the jack goes to this ground. It's right here. Thermoforming. All right, now I know what to Google. Yeah, thermoforming, it would be really cool. Would that potentially melt the 3D printed part? Or if I put something on top of it to deflect the heat? I don't know how that works. I'm just curious. But yeah, that'd be super cool. Okay, we got the button. The button's here. The button should be up here. Also, let me know if whoever is watching right now is watching via YouTube, the shorts, or like the vertical stream. That was something I threw on the last minute because I saw that was a possibility. And hopefully it's the same, or like it's not weird. But I set it up so that it's inside these blue tape. You can't see it. But the part is just to mold it. That's true. Yeah, if it's a one use, like print it and then just wreck it, that's fine. It did its job. Okay, so now the button is in. I'm also going to fold these tabs so that they are straight out. I should also, before I mold this in, I'm going to test this to make sure I got the right wires. You only heat plastic like, oh, alright. Makes sense. Here's a way that you can test to see if you got your battery or your button wires connected up correctly. You get your, what's it called? Multimeter, put it on continuity mode. Then you've got to touch your two wires. And this involves like all your hands. Touch the wires. And then click the button, and then if it beeps, or if your multimeter beeps, that means it'll correctly give signal. So that's why it's like, okay, how do I do this? But if I go here, and button, Alright, so that's how we know that it's going to work. Or at least it's going to pass a signal as we expect it to. Heat the plastic until it's soft, then apply a 3D print. That would also be an interesting video of like, alright, I don't know how to thermoform, but we're going to give it a shot, and then just going through this process. Or like a how-to video, but it just starts with me not knowing how to do it either. But yeah, I appreciate all the tips. So now we got the button in there and out of the way. Or at least out of the way enough. We've got the button needs to go to D3 and the jack. So I'm going to go back to clipping this in. And we're going to go red is D3. It's right here. And then where's the black wire? There. That also has to get to the ground. So now we're getting kind of the nitty gritty where it's, let's see, I can even scoot everything closer. So you can see it. Lights help. Sure. Yeah, it's like saran wrapping, and you can, yeah, the journey. Yeah, the how do I vid. Yeah, I did that. What did I do that for? It wasn't a how to, it was a how I. Yeah. I really appreciate all the ideas because that sounds like something I'd totally do. So I'll have to, when the time comes to make the canopy, I will totally thermoform. And I got to remember all you guys who are helping out. I'll give you thanks because that's super helpful and I would not figure that out myself. So here, and then let's get this over there. And also, like, the video will be informational enough that if you want to do it yourself, it won't be me just mumbling the whole time. It'll actually be, like, concise, but it'll also be like, and then I failed this way, and then I failed this way, and then I failed this way. So I think those videos are kind of fun, too. I need some more of tin and flux. Okay. Is that good? I don't know if that's touching. Okay, it was, and now it's not. I forgot I also have to tape down this part. The gun lights, that's what it was. Yeah, the gun lights was like, I want to do this, I don't know how, but here's how I'm going to try. But yeah, it's the same idea of like, I know it can be done. Like, the logic's all there, but... So yeah, that's a great idea. Let's see, I'm pulling this double-sided tape off so I can keep this board in place because it keeps moving on me. But I also want to keep this shell out of the way. Okay. I'm just trying to get these two wires to this one ground pin. They're just being annoying. Message retracted. Is that me? Or is that, are you? Wait, you're getting too many ads for this stream? Ads for the stream? Or you mean like as you're watching it an ad pops up? And also, are you redacting your messages or is the stream? Because if it's the stream, I can try to turn that off because I don't know how or why it's on, but too many ads for this stream. I can't type. I have terrible... Oh, gotcha. Just making sure it wasn't like trying to prevent you from chatting for whatever reason. I don't know why that would be, but I think we're almost done here. We've just got the red of the power needs to go to the VIN. I've gotten 3 ads in 10 minutes of watching. Huh. Alright, hang on a second. Let's... I don't want it to be... I'm redacting... Okay, gotcha. 3 ads in 10 minutes. Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. Alright. I clicked a button that said delay ads, so there shouldn't be more ads, I think. I didn't set it when ads take place. I was just like, yeah, at some point, sure. But hopefully there's no ad and you get a nice experience, because that would be annoying. Then we've got this wire. And then the V, oh, that's ground. Okay, so that has to go. Might be tough to see for this one. It's not an issue, just funny YouTube. Oh, yeah. So I've got to get this red wire kind of hooked up and around. I don't want to crimp the wire or like bend it too much. I can maybe turn this whole thing so you can see it a little bit better. But I need to get this red. Oh, actually, if I do that, it will be hard to solder. Okay, I'll leave it like this. But I need to get this red wire up here. And I got to do this one last because otherwise all the other wires will get in the way of this. Okay, that one's on. Are you monetized? Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, we are. We hit 1,000 subscribers. That's the monetization like limit. Once you're above 1,000, you can start getting monetized. But we hit 1,000 subscribers on a live stream a long time ago. I think I might have been making one of these as well. But yeah, so we are monetized, and so that is why we're able to do fun projects like these, like I say in a lot of the videos, is through the YouTube being nice, or at least paying us out. But yeah, if the ads ever get too annoying, just tell me, and I'll try to cut them back. Do you have any tiny whoops? I do, and I'm going to solder this one joint, because I think this is the last one, and I can show you the tiny whoop I have. I haven't flown it in a while, but I built it a long time ago. That's actually how I started in FPV, was with tiny whoops, because I liked the idea of flying them inside. And so I used to fly them around at home and just rip them around. Back when they were like brushed motors, so they didn't go fast, but it was cool to see like my house from a different perspective. Oh, did I just wreck the red wire that was already in? I might have. Keep touching the red wire. Actually, I should really just do the black wire first, because it's further in and it's harder to get to. Okay, black wire's in. Okay, those wires are all connected. What city are you in? Yeah, I'm in Minnesota. I'm in Savage, Minnesota right now. And I went over, there's a video, one of our most popular videos. I think it actually is our most popular video, of the Savage police officer coming up and telling us we can't fly in the parks. So I'm working on fixing that, because that's kind of lame. This I think is good. I've got my tiny whoop here. I just spent all morning soldering, so it kind of feels full circle to watch somebody struggle with the same wire. But yeah, I was going into it with like, oh, I'll do red first because it's on the outside, then I'll move in. Like, no, I should go inside out because I'm left-handed, so I've got to work my way and not just immediately get in the way. I did not go to Flight Fest. I forgot it was going on, to be honest. And then, or like I just didn't get any ads for it, or I didn't see it. And then I saw a bunch of videos where I'm like, oh, yeah, that would have been cool. But I haven't gone at all yet, but it's a bucket list item at some point to go. We're taking a little detour from what we're doing right now, because this is almost done. So I'll just put that to side to show off. This is my next year, maybe yeah, that'd be super cool. But this is the box I made, which can barely fit on screen because it was supposed to be close up. But I made a tiny whoop. Oh, this might have really puffy batteries in it, now that I think about it. But I made this case for my tiny whoop. They're actually not, they're not bad. This one is bad. I've got to dispose of that one. Okay, put that over there. But I made this case for this, what was it, 64 millimeter? I forget what millimeter, but it was Mr. Shutterbug made a super, super light, what's it called? Build with a tiny camera, tiny VTX, tiny brushless motors, like tiny everything. And I thought it was super cool. So I followed all of his guidelines and instructions. And then I took it with us on vacations and stuff. And so I have the charger, which can charge all these batteries at the same time. And it uses a broken XT60. So like it does work. Or like at the time it was super cool. And it is really cool. I haven't flown it in a while because the VTX overheated so much that it kind of wrecked the camera, or like it made it really bad looking. But then I also have these little sidecar things for, let's see, what do we got? Extra motors that are all plug and play. I forget what all these are. Oh, extra just screws, antennas, different ports, and then I think propellers. Yeah, extra propellers that I cut from 4 blade down to 2 for saving weight and making it more efficient. But yeah, this is something I always carry in my bag. I actually should probably take it out because it's just extra weight. But I made it so that all the foam stays in there. I just got this box from, I think, Dick's. And then I cut out all the inner lines, and then I put foam. And it's also waterproof. Like, it's got that little grommet on the end, so it's all nice and sealed. But yeah. Well, it sounds good. I can re-dig into the micro FPV stuff because that'd be super cool. But yeah, the foam case was really cool too. That was just going to Dick's and being like, all right, I need something that is very open, and then I just got some foam that we use to pad our chairs, like in our kitchen chairs, and then I just cut those out. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I forgot that I got batteries in there that are just need to be safely disposed of because this is bad. Anyways, yeah, micro FPV is just crazy cool. I've been meaning to I want to try like the Cinewhoop stuff, like micro digital FPV would be super cool. And I think at some point I think it'd be cool to like do that for real estate, or go fly around houses with that. But yeah, that'd be super cool. If you ever need, yeah, like this is horrible. I forgot that I flew them a little too hard, and they started to puff up, and then I just put them back in the bag, and that was a long time ago. So I'll dispose of those safely. If you ever need help building a dedicated FPV wing with a flight controller and GPS, oh yeah, that would be really cool. Especially like those are pretty long range, right? The FPV wings, like they're super efficient flyers, and they can just toss them and let them go. That would be super cool. Yeah, that would be really, really slick. I think we are just about done. Like, I don't want to pop this in yet. I want to test it. Cinewhoops are not worth it unless you do real estate. They have terrible performance, efficiency, and durability. Yeah, 45-minute battery life would be awesome. Like, that sounds crazy. But yeah, that's what I've heard too. Cinewhoops are like cool if you have a really good use case, like real estate filming. But yeah, that would be super cool to have a 45-minute battery life flying around, especially if you do digital. Or, I mean, analog would be super cool too because that's really low latency. But yeah, that's a project for the future for sure. Especially if you can 3D print it. Like, that's awesome. Let's see. How can I test this? I got my servo. That's a servo. Do I have a head tracker that I could test it with? That's sitting around. Yeah, if you need help with it, but any other style is better for your purpose. Yeah. Especially if I just want to like something to rip around the house. Like, that'd be super cool. Oh, yeah. That's a good point. Or that's a good, what's it called? It's a good reason because you get like the 1 watt transmitters that are just like ridiculously high powered. Oh, here's a head tracker that should work. And then I need a receiver, which I've got over here, and then Sand DIY helical. Yeah, that'd be super cool. Let's see. We need a receiver that's got at least 2 channels. Let's see. I think this one. Let's see how I can do this so you can see it. This should be this. This should be this. And then a 5-watt VTX. Golly, I'm out of the loop then. Last I heard 1 watt was like the crazy stuff. 5 watts. That's pretty crazy. What else do we need? I got a receiver, a head tracker. This will be hard to fit on the little screen, but I'll give it a shot. And then I got this little battery pack that I use for servo testing. That should plug into this, and then I'll get my Radiomaster Zorro. There's a 16-watt. How is that even possible? Like, doesn't that get ridiculously hot and power hungry and heavy and all of the other stuff? Oh, I forgot. I still need to make the adapter wire. Well, that doesn't take very long, but what are you building? I am building a head tracker for an order that somebody put in, and it'll look in the end just like this. So this is my original head tracker, but it should look exactly the same, but he ordered it in black. If you're looking to buy a head tracker or make one yourself, we got tutorials, as well as there's a link in the description of this live stream that is for our shop, so you can do it yourself, or if you want me to do it, I'll do it live on screen like I'm doing now and make a fun little live stream about it. So this is ridiculously close.
Welcome to HTX.
But I'll switch. Yeah. I'll see if I can get a little further away and not blast it out. Yeah, it's not worth it for the hobby stuff. Yeah, that's not surprising. Let's see. I will switch to. I think I had a head tracker model set up just for testing. Oh, there you go, HT. How professional of me. Now, is this input? Yes, okay, I had the input set up too. Okay. So I will. This will have to be over here. I can turn off the soldering iron for now. Let's see. You have to maybe believe me that this stuff is working, but I'm going to plug in this to my. Actually, first, what I should always do is get out the multimeter, hit continuity. That's what I'm looking for. Just touching all the pads to make sure we don't get any beeping when we shouldn't. Okay, I'm not hearing anything, and I am hearing stuff when I touch them together. Okay, so I'm assuming, or I can confidently say that we're not getting any bad noises yet. But I'm going to plug in, maybe we'll start with just plugging in the head tracker itself, and that just uses the same battery that comes with the goggles, or at least you can just wire lead it from there. This goggles does have battery. So I'm going to plug that in there. I'm going to plug this in here. Oops, sorry, bump that a bit. So if I plug this into here, go, and I power this on. Okay, we're getting all the right flashes and all the right everything, so that's really good. So you can see that's looking just fine. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm turning off with that, and then I'm going to plug in the audio jack from the transmitter into the head tracker. I also keep bumping this. I apologize. But let's plug that into there. Go. So now we should be getting signal from our transmitter over here, and you can see You can see kind of, but these are the trainer 2 and trainer 3, which is what the channels that are coming from the head tracker. I say we because this channel is my brother and I. I'm the one who's doing all the building, but it is officially our channel. And so when I say we, or if I ever say we in a video, I'm referencing like it's us, as in our channel, me and my brother. So yeah, it's a we, but I do the building, or it's we as in like us as a community. We're doing the building. But yeah, that's what I mean. So if these have to be actually channels 2 and 3, I wish there were multiple copies of me, because then I could be doing this on one stream, and then I could be fixing the Timber X on a different stream, and doing all this and that. Actually, is that right? Inputs, outputs. Yeah, okay. Well, if it's not, we'll be one off, and we'll just fix it in a second. So we've got, I'll turn this on. Good. I should say trainer connected. Or no, it won't yet, but if I power this on.
Trainer connected.
That's good. That means it got signal from there. And then if I, oh, trainer connected, but this isn't connected. That makes sense. I'm just going to bind the receiver to my transmitter, which needs to be internal can be off, external needs to be on, and multi, which I somehow scrolled right past it, multi. And it is a Spectrum. I'm sorry, this is off camera, but I'm just scrolling through. Where is, oh no, it's DSMX, that's right. So that's going to be the other way. Come on. DSM, and then, yeah, sure, bind. Okay. Now that we're bound, there we go. So now, if I move this around, and it's a little froggy because it hasn't reset to the center, but at least we're getting some movement. Now I'm going to turn everything off,
Telemetry lost.
and then plug
Data signal lost.
this, or plug it in, but like pop it in, because all the wires should be good. There we go. And then if I slide this on the back, this is like our finished look. So now, actually I could put it onto my own goggles, make it even easier. Get that out of the way. This is the beauty of this system, is that when it's ready to fly, here are my goggles. You can go like this, and boom, now you're on and ready to fly. So I'm going to do that, and now I'm going to turn this on.
Trainer signal recovered.
Trainer signal recovered. That's great. Oh, I kept thinking, like, why is this not connecting? That's because I didn't plug it in. So now, if I reset this to the center, and I, oh, didn't plug it in all the way. There we go. If I turn this, oh, we got a little reversing action here. That's what happened with my trainer when I tried it. Oh, yeah. So as you can see, if I turn this way, we're a little off. Let's see, you can't really see either one of those from that angle. Great job, me. So if I turn it left, we're going right. If I turn right, we're going left. Up is up, down is down. That's all working, and then I can fix that on the transmitter. You can just reverse this, and then it'll be working. But this means that this head tracker is fully operational. And these also are a lot lower travel. But that means we're working and we're doing great. So that part is all working. I'm going to turn everything back off
Signal lost.
because
Telemetry
all we have to do is now make the adapter wire, and this whole order will be done. So that's exciting. So I'm going to put this stuff away, take your head tracker off, balk into the camera again, put this here. And so, how are the ALM-ways? ALM-ways? I don't know. Okay, that's going to go back up here. A little cleanup before we dig into this last one, which will involve more bigger soldering. So I'm going to have the fan on higher because it's just more soldering. I don't want to breathe all that stuff in. Sorry, I'm just cleaning up over here. Why is this not fitting in? I just took it out of here. Oh, gotcha. That's no problem. Hope you're having a good time. Got that going over there, this going over here. All right, so we are making the adapter wire, which will look like this. And the whole point of having this big old adapter wire, what wire is right next to me now, is that when you go to fly either digital or analog, you have normal power goes to your goggles if you're using ours through here, but you need more than that. So you have one port that goes here to your goggles, you have one port that goes to the head tracker, and then you have one last port that goes all the way around to your digital adapter for your goggles. So just like that, you have one more plug in and you're good to go. But I still got to make that. So we are going to use the goggles here to get a nice layout. And I think if this is cool enough, I'm going to change to a bigger soldering iron tip because this is all going to be very big solder stuff. Yes, that's cool enough. I'm just changing this tip out from a smaller tip to a larger tip so I can get all these wires nice and soldered together. So I got this nice little bag of them. So I'm going to go to this bigger, chunkier tip. That's reloading. It's not cold, or it's not completely cool, but it's a little warm. But got that, and so I'm going to turn this back on. I'm going to put that over there. What do we need? We need that off the desk. So we got your pieces over here. And so the way I've been doing this for all of these adapters is that I have these empty wires that I bought, and they're linked in the description of like the how to do it yourself video. So if you want to figure out what these are, go through that. So then I plug in one wire over there, got one wire under here. And then one under here. So that's how I know where all these wires have to plug in. And then I kind of go down, and since I want them to like flow down. So if I go down here, I can confidently say that these wires just need to get cut all right here. And then this is where I solder on this, and then we're good to go. So I'm going to cut it a little longer than that so I don't make the same mistake I've made in the past. So now we've got all this extra wire, which is nice. And we also know that this is the exact length that all these wires need to be connected to. So I can take that off, take this off. I can then just strip and connect all of these wires. And I'm going to have to take this off again. Wish there were ELRS transmitters with gyro. Yeah, I do too. I really like ELRS. They're also fairly cheap. Like the 8-channel. I got an 8-channel receiver a long time ago because there was some deal. It was like $30 for 8 channels, and so that was the receiver I was using in the Timber X, or the Timber X head tracker had its own dedicated receiver to it. But it was so cheap and it works super well. So it's like, well, yeah, I want to use that, and especially having a gyro with it, or something similar to that of Spectrum's Safe and AS3X. Like, that's super cool. Okay, so we need to get rid of these wires that are currently on there, which again, I'm going to use this fan, and it's going to be a little bit louder, I assume, because this is going to have much more fumes, and I don't want to breathe that in. But so let's get this over here, and we're going to take this off. Bigger gauge wires take longer. Alright, wire, you're doing too much. Get out of there. And Crossfire PWM are $5. Oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah, they're just crazy cool, and they work super well. Is this tip just worse at transferring heat? I used it because it was bigger, so I figured it would be better at soldering all of these wires together, but it's just like not. Yeah, the radios are super nice. Like my Zorro was, I forget what it was, but it was super reasonable at the time. Well, at least that's why I got it. Yeah, Spectrum is not as affordable, but it is super easy to like just grab and go. Like, that's the props I do give it, is that when it's time to go flying with Spectrum, they're super, super nice. Let's see, we still have got to tin and prep all of these. What gauge is this? Not that. 12. Let's see, if I strip off a little bit more and twist the wires together, that might be the right strategy here. That's one. But the range is kind of terrible. Yeah, well, that's my thing with Spectrum, is people have said that the range isn't good. And in my use case, which is only flying around like the track in front of me, or like, you know, a pretty small park space, I've had zero issues ever with Spectrum. And so I can understand that other people have had issues trying to fly further away, or like you're saying 300 feet, like that's not great. But like in my use case, I still really like it, and it works really well for UMX stuff too. But yeah, I can understand how it could be it could be super frustrating to have to deal with all that. Let's see. I want to. How did I do this in the past? I think it's just getting all these wires mightily, you know, gunked up. Yeah, that's why it's like I don't ever fly far away. So if I do a long range wing, I'll use ELRS for sure. But like UMXs in a small field, like it's always worked for me. Which is like, oh, it worked for me, so it must work for everybody. Totally not the case. They're great for if you want to go and fly close range, and it's still not terrible. It's just not worth the price. Yeah, that's a fair analysis. It's also, you don't get as much customizability when it comes to like ELRS. You got Lewis scripts. You've got all these things you can customize, like the channels. It does take a little more getting used to like, yeah, cheaper for better performance. Yep, totally agree. But like that's why I can have the gun lights, is because I had access to the Lewis scripts, which I could put onto channels. Like you probably can do that somehow on Spectrum. I just don't know how it works, and it works super well on ELRS. I keep going to continue these. You've made your own ELRS PCBs? That's cool. Well, that's awesome. If you've got videos or you know how to do it, please share, because that sounds awesome to have $5. Oh, wait, ELRS. Oh, receiver. Yeah. That's super cool. I even got, there's more customizability than most people need. Yeah. There is, for a future version of the micro head tracker, let's see. Oh wait, I have got an example here. You know how I added this tiny, there's a EP5 ELRS receiver here. I added that to this head tracker, which is like, this is the whole system including a receiver. I want to add something like that onto the fully removable head tracker setup, so that when it's time to just go fly, you don't need to take your receiver from a different plane. You can just like pop it in and go. So that's something I want to add in the future, is a super tiny receiver, but I don't know what the range would be like on the EP5, and I would want it to be pretty large. If you're like, I don't want that to ever cut out first, but that's at least my thought. I know we need to get, I'll try to do red first, because that's going to be the inner one, which means it's a little bit more annoying. Okay. Let's do this. Make sure everything's in the camera. Yep. Okay, red. Let's start. Okay, that's one. I need more solder in there. Here we go. You took the EP5 5 kilometers. All right, so maybe it'll work just fine. that would actually be awesome if it did, because that's such a tiny little receiver. Or no, wait, is it EP5? No, it's an EP1 or 2, because all I need is 3 PWM channels out of it, and I know you can upload things to make that tiny receiver take or give PWM output. So I forget, maybe it's an EP1 or 2. But either way, I think it'd be super cool to have like a built-in receiver that's super good, obviously. Alright, last red wire, and I'm not going to say anything yet. Okay, maybe if I add a little bit more. Oh, hang on. I missed a comment. Also, you can turn a receiver into a transmitter for ELRS and make the whole head tracking module have a built-in receiver, so you don't even need another radio. Oh, yeah, I only use one radio. I use just my Radio Master Zorro, and then I have, at least for the couple planes so far, I've had a Spectrum receiver control the plane, and then an ELRS receiver control the head tracker. So I only use one radio, but still. Oh, you're going 2 kilometers in EP2. Okay, so yeah, it'll still be way more than I need, which is awesome, and I really appreciate the feedback, because I'm like, well, it's a small receiver. I don't want to just lose something. And it's like, oh no, I've flown it kilometers away. Okay, sweet. Okay, we're pulling into the end here, which is good because we're making some good time. I also got a soccer game here at 6:30, which is in 2 hours and change, and so that's 40 minutes away. So I just got to make sure I get this all wrapped up before then, which will be fine. Okay, tinning that up, and now we just have the black wires left. So hopefully it'll be as easy as the red wires, because that was like crazy easy. Get these wires bent the correct way first. Like in my head, it's like, oh, is it gonna last or have enough range for like a soccer field? And you're like, yeah, if the soccer field's in the town over, yeah, it should be fine. So that's just reassuring and good. One black wire. Okay, that's a cold joint that we got so far. I am either a goalie or a striker, depending on whether or not the other goalie's there. So I do either a lot of running or no running. And I grew up playing goalie, so I'm not great at running. Or like, my stamina's not awesome, but I like playing. But got a little Sunday League soccer coming up, which I gotta play with my brothers and my cousins, so that's like super fun. Okay, this isn't a great joint yet, but we'll get there. Yeah. Nothing like a little FPV work in the afternoon, followed by a little soccer. But come on, that's a pretty good weekend. I also fixed a fence today, or a gate. So, I did a little bit of everything today. But, back to this. I think that these wires are pretty darn good. Are you in this, and is this... Oh, no, this is an adult league. This is I think it's an over 21 league. No, maybe it's over 18. But, yeah, it's just an adult Sunday league. Playing... Let's see. I think that all looks really good, actually. All the separation. I can't add any heat shrink on these wires directly. Like I could, but like I'm going to do is just put one piece of heat shrink over it, and I could put a little conformal coating in there just to make sure things don't. Yeah, it's a pretty nice Sunday. Let's see. What I'm going to do, I haven't done this a lot, but I got a little conformal coating here, and I'm going to just paint a little bit. Actually, I think I'm done soldering, so I'll turn this off so it's not as loud. I'm going to put this away. I'm going to take a little Q-tip and dollop this in there. So make sure it's on camera. This is here too. But I'm just going to put a little bit in here just to make sure that no moisture or anything gets in there. And then on top of this, I'm going to put a piece of heat shrink as well. So it should be very protected from any unwanted moisture. It also smells horrible, so got that going for me. Actually, not horrible. It just is not a scent that I would want a candle for. Oh, you're an adult or adult? No, I when we started this channel 2 years ago, last year. Either way, I just turned 25, so yeah, I'm over the hill now. I'm really just hanging on for dear life, but yeah, I've been. Is that gonna be big enough? Oh, that's ripped. Wouldn't want that for my own, so I won't put it on here. But yeah, that's okay. Now this is gonna be the most tedious part, is barely stretching this out. So we're gonna go here, so you can see we've got the heat shrink is gonna go to this bottom lip down, covering everything. So I'm just gonna take the old needle nose and stretch this out, and then stretch it out the other way, because it still heat shrinks down even if it's stretched out. I mean, I've done this a ton of times, so it's not like groundbreaking things here, but it does stretch out big enough that I can put this over and over the top, and just like that, we'll have a nice enclosed area. So for the last time, I will take out the heat gun. All right. If you have a house, it doesn't really sound like you're hanging on. Yeah, well, things come and go. We've been looking for a house for a while, since the beginning of the year, which is now 8 months ago, and the housing market where we are is pretty crazy. But so we're staying here for now. But my dream is to afford a house at this. Yep, same. That's exactly the same with us. But this is the adapter wire, which again will plug into all the different ports on your goggles. I guess I can test it again, even though I just tested it beforehand. So we got 1, 2, and 3. So this is what it's supposed to look like. You got a nice wiring harness, and you can just plug your normal DJI goggles inside of here. So we got that there, there, and there. That's our adapter. And we got this part, and the head tracker is still on the goggles. So there, that's everything. That's cool. What do you do for a job? I am a machine learning scientist at a big tech company, and that is taking up my 9 to 5, or that is my 9 to 5. And then yeah, any extra time I get, I put into this channel and making planes and making fun stuff. So it's a whole lot of stuff all the time, but I enjoy it. It's fun. But let's see. Ooh, is that open? Oh, I was smart and closed it. Nice. Let's see what am I missing? I guess that's gonna pretty much do it here. I'm gonna clean up here because I always leave the stream before I clean up, and I'm like, well, I should have just kept talking and cleaned up so that I don't have a huge mess to come back to. But I think that's gonna pretty much do it. Or like we're done. Like we did it. Success. We got a head tracker, the back part, which just screws onto the side of the goggles, adapter wire. So we got a success again. And this is for one of my buddies I fly with, so I can give it to him directly, which I'm excited for. But yeah, it's a very fun hobby to be a part of because I can fly for one. Like that's by itself is crazy. But yeah, building stuff tinkering is like my favorite aspect of this, or making the head tracker or the fully removable system or all of these tinkering stuff. Like that is my favorite part of this hobby. So that's why I like doing it on camera. I'm doing it a lot, but it's just super fun and rewarding. And that's why I like doing it. But I had like the top camera for a while, the camera that used to be all the way down, and it just like stopped working. So I want to have that top camera back, but I was like, I'll just leave it for now. Have you ever thought of building a lithium-ion battery pack? Yeah. I have. I haven't really done it, but I was like, that might be cool because it's, if I remember correct, you can get some crazy range out of it, or like not range, distance. What am I thinking? Duration of flight you can get pretty high with a Li-ion pack, especially if you make it yourself. I like tinkering just as much as flying. Yeah, it's just being at the bench is super fun, and like because we all have a 3D printer too, so it's like the quick iteration of building something and figuring it out and being like, what do I need? And like that part to me is super satisfying, and I really like it. And so that's why I like the hobby. And flying with people too, like that is super fun. Especially if you have a bunch of people who have like head tracking and like, you know, you can see each other and you're part of the stuff. Oh, nice. You just joined the server? Or her Discord? But yeah, I am just cleaning up in the background here. If I had the top down camera, you could probably see me, but yeah, let's see, got that put away. But let's see, I still have to dispose of this LiPo battery because that's just dumb that I haven't yet. But yeah, that's 3D printing and hot glue is the foundation of all my projects. Yeah, pretty much same. If it's not glued down, it will be. But yeah, it's super fun. It's rewarding. It's stressful at times when like you're testing something for the first time and you're like, oh, you rejoined, gotcha. But like when it's flying something or having a new project in a plane, you're like, well, I sure hope this doesn't crash because that was a lot of time I put into it. But yeah, I really enjoy it. Oh, nice. You left to lock in for finals. Well, I hope finals went well. Finals aren't fun. I'm glad I don't do finals anymore. Not to brag, but now I just have to work. So, who's the real winner? But yeah, having these like laid out instructions was super nice. Just because I just followed along step by step. Also, sneak peek of a project coming soon. We got contacted by Crackle. I don't know if you've seen their ads, but they're like, hey, you should print one of our planes. And so we are. And that's going to be coming out. The video will be out by August 15th. So, got to buy some CA glue first. But yeah, that's a project that's in the works. And a lot of the parts are already done printing. Either almost all done or they all are. But yeah, getting those printed and testing and showing off how cool it is. That's going to be something we're working on. We got obviously the F-15 or F-15 F-22. That's coming soon. Let's see, I'm trying to get everything organized. I was even printing or trying to print this little ball marker tool. I got a ball over here, so that I didn't have to buy one. I just mark a golf ball. All these little tinker projects are super fun. But yeah, that's just about gonna do it. I said earlier that I might live stream later, and I still might because the current status of the head tracking system. Yeah, let's see if we can find it for a second. Because the current status of the head tracking system is this after the crash. You know, that really nice compact design I made and put through. This is what it currently looks like. But you haven't seen them. Oh, the Crackle. Let's see, they're on one of the wings. Crackle. They just make 3D printable planes out of normal PLA. Like, this is completely normal PLA, and it's super light. So we're printing one of their planes. It's the Crackle Stick. We're printing that one at the moment, or all the parts are over here. But yeah, that's Tinker Today. Oh, okay, cool. Where is my Discord? But yeah, that's a project that's coming out in 2 weeks ish. But I still gotta buy CA glue because I didn't have any, so I couldn't put it together yet. But that's at least the lowdown. So I'm gonna fix this and then fix the Timber X as well, because this is fierce. I don't know what, if anything, works or still works, but like a lot of the wires have ripped off, or some of the wires have ripped off. Everything's just kind of funky. Oh, I'm looking at the Discord. That looks pretty slick. That's really cool, actually. Well, yeah, I might live stream later after the soccer game if it's not super late. It is like 40 minutes away, so that's kind of lame. But I might live stream later, and I'll be trying to fix up the Timber X, or at least do like a damage report and assessment of like what just happened. But yeah, that should be at least the goal here. I'm looking at the Discord on my computer instead of just on my watch. You're tinkering today. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Whoa, you're having what's it called? Not string lights, but they're filament, whatever they're called. I saw those at Micro Center. Super cool. I thought about adding it to like cockpit lights in the Corsair. Everything kind of goes back to the Corsair, but that's the goal. But yeah, that's super cool. I think I've got to wrap it up here. COB Cobb LEDs. Yeah, that looks super cool. But I've got to wrap this up here because I've got to get ready and head out for my soccer game. And my wife just got home as well. So that's nice. Get to go talk to her for a little bit. But yeah, this has been making a head tracker again. Again, if you want to buy one of these yourself, we have a link to our website. Or if you want to do it yourself, we got links to tutorials. Either way works. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking around and joining the live stream. I think these are super fun, and I hope we can do it later. Thank you very much. I hope soccer goes well. It's like 77 degrees, so it's like a perfect night to be outside. But yeah, hello to Beer Sync. Unfortunately, we are ending here in just a second, so I can go get ready for soccer, but I might be live streaming later and fixing up a plane. But yeah, make sure to join our Discord if you want to continue chatting and a conversation and seeing more of the fun project we work on. But yeah, thank you, and see you guys later.